So Mr. Nemoto intentionally doing the totally opposite way of doing things. Don't yell out, but always nice smile, nice and accept everything. And so it is very, very interesting. Hardcore Taiichi Ohno style, very soft spoken, and Mr. Nemoto style. And it's all those two pillars work very closely together. That is the reason why we Toyota people are very, very lucky.
Welcome to Chain of Learning, where the links of leadership and learning unite. This is your connection for actionable strategies and practices to empower you to build a people-centered learning culture, get results, and expand your impact so that you and your team can leave a lasting legacy. I'm your host and fellow learning enthusiast, Katie Anderson. A global economic crisis is dragging down sales. Quality issues are mounting. Departments are working in silos. Leaders at all levels are arguing about priorities. Managers are too busy to coach their teams. Sound familiar? You might think that I'm describing your company today or one you've worked with, but this was the exact situation Toyota Motor Corporation faced nearly 50 years ago. In the late 1970s, just a decade after winning the Deming Prize, Toyota's executive team recognized that operational problems were symptoms of a deeper issue, a gap in senior management capability. Leaders weren't effectively setting or aligning on strategy, the Hoshin Kanri process, which I explored in detail 2 episodes ago in episode 45, and they weren't developing their team members' problem-solving and communication skills. The countermeasure, one of the most ambitious and influential and least known outside of Japan leadership development programs in Toyota's history, the Kanri Nouryoku Program, or KANPRO for short. Kanri meaning management, and Nouryoku meaning capability. KANPRO was a 2-year initiative launched in the late 1970s and early 1980s, designed to retighten the screws on the leadership behaviors and thinking processes of Toyota's 1,000 most senior managers. The outcome? A foundational shift. KANPRO established the people-centered learning culture Toyota is famous for today and embedded A3 thinking as the process for problem-solving, communication, and leadership development. One of the key team members responsible for developing and leading the program, though still early in his career, was Isao Yoshino, a 40-year Toyota leader and the subject of my Shingo award-winning book, Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn, which this month celebrates its 5-year anniversary. I invited Mr. Yoshino back to the podcast to explore 2 pivotal inflection points in Toyota's evolution, not just to recount these significant milestones, but to reflect on how he learned to lead cultural transformation from a place of influence, not positional authority. This episode is the first of 2 parts from our conversation, recorded just weeks after spending an immersive week together in Japan on my most recent Japan leadership experience. Here, in this episode, we focus on KANPRO and how Toyota's senior leadership, especially President Eiji Toyoda, senior leader Masao Nemoto, and Mr. Yoshino's boss and mentor, Mr. Sugiura, set out to reshape Toyota's leadership culture, and how Mr. Yoshino, as an internal change leader, learned how to coach up senior leaders and influence wide-scale transformation. The second part of our conversation that will feature in an upcoming episode of Chain of Learning will explore Mr. Yoshino's next major assignment to change the culture, and how he and his team, including Lean Global Network Chairman John Shook, led the training program in transformation of frontline American leaders at NUMMI, the GM Toyota joint venture in the 1980s. You can read more about both of these impactful events in Toyota's history with Mr. Yoshino's behind-the-scenes stories in Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn. And if you haven't, go back and listen to episodes 21 and 22 of this podcast to hear Mr. Yoshino's powerful reflections on leadership and what it means to create a chain of learning. To begin this episode, I asked Mr. Yoshino to reflect on the influence and style of 2 key leaders, Taiichi Ohno and Masao Nemoto, in the development of the Toyota production system and Toyota Way management, and the intentional shift Toyota made towards a more Nemoto-style, people-centered approach to leadership in the 1970s. Here's Mr. Yoshino.
Well, actually, when people say Toyota Way, sometimes people are talking about a production site, like Kaizen, or those are just like Taiichi Ohno has been working very, very hard. But when Nemoto came in, but the Nemoto-san's area is not necessarily the working level, particularly manager, but he is focusing on manager level. So the area that Taiichi Ohno is focusing and the area of Mr. Nemoto was focusing different. So it's probably Eiji Toyota just, expect Taiichi Ohno taking care of the production, direct production side, everything, manufacturing side. Then he assigned Mr. Nemoto indirectly, probably. No, you take care of, just like Taiichi Ohno, you take care of the management or managers level, just like another Taiichi Ohno. So Mr. Nemoto intentionally doing the totally opposite way of doing things. Don't yell out, but always nice smile, nice and accept everything. And so it is very, very interesting. Hardcore Taiichi Ohno style, very soft spoken, and Mr. Nemoto style. And it's all those two pillars work very closely together. That is the reason why we Toyota people are very, very lucky. And on the production side, very great people, a great person like Taiichi Ohno. And then Nemoto-san is very good listener and always ready to listen. So we have those two very great directors and working on both sides. So we are very, very lucky. I don't know whether we have that type of two pillars in the current Toyota organization. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, the legacy that they have left is strong. All of the production principle concepts that Taiichi Ohno really embedded in, like really created with the Toyota production system, and then Nemoto's approach around what we know and talk about on the coach, the leader as coach, and as you said, like asking questions, really knowing how to negotiate and communicate and align from the management side, and there was a real decision on that was the direction they wanted to go from a management perspective, more of this Nemoto style.
Right. So it was we are very, very lucky. I personally very lucky because when I was with Toyota, Taiichi Ohno is so popular. But at the same time, Nemoto-san came in and came up with another big pillar on maybe on office side or management side. So that makes Toyota the big, so successful, so that tells us a lesson that why Toyota has been so successful because of the seriousness of a top management, and always they keep that seriousness forever. And then the people working for them, they automatically become so serious because it starts from top management. If top management is lazy, okay, you guys do this, then nothing happens. Maybe it works in 1 year or 2 years, but it's within Toyota, just it lasts longer because top management always serious.
Based on this intentional shift in leadership culture and the gaps Toyota's executive team saw emerging in their senior leaders' capabilities, President AJ Toyota assigned Masao Nemoto to lead the effort to close the management capability gap. Nemoto, in turn, appointed Mr. Yoshino's boss, Mr. Sugiura, to lead the charge in retightening the screws on the leadership practices of Toyota's top 1,000 senior managers, including general managers and assistant general managers, who reported up to the executive team, which Mr. Yoshino often refers to as board members or senior officers. I asked Mr. Yoshino to describe the problem Toyota was trying to solve and how ConPro emerged as a countermeasure. Let's dive back in. I'd love for you to share a little bit more about what problem the Toyota senior executives were seeing back in the 1970s, and then what ConPro was all about.
That's a good question, because probably in 1950s and 60s, we learned so many things out of American lean coaches like Dr. Deming and their group. And so Toyota, all the people, Toyota management people are so eager to learn something new, and they are so excited that they're doing things right, just like they learned in maybe 60s. But 10 years, 15 years later, they are quite familiar. They think they are quite familiar. They are an expert on doing what they have learned from the United States. And also Toyota is now expanding and bigger and become number one in auto companies. And so then they become, we are great. Toyota is great. We have nothing to learn from somebody else. So become kind of arrogant. Arrogant is a very strong expression, but kind of they believe that we reached the goal already. They don't say that. They did not say that, but top management, Toyota top management, he felt that probably their energy, not energy, but the intention was good, but still their excitement when they learn something new from United States, is now it's slowing down. It's fading away a little bit. They sensed it. Top management sensed it, and so and also the recall thing. All those things happened in the auto market too. So top management became concerned about those mentality, about those, number one in the world in Japan, and type of thinking. So top management was become so serious to begin with, not Segura's group, top management. So they talk about it in among those top management, and that is, I believe, that is how it started. Campro, they don't call it Campro at that time yet, and so they talk. Age daughter was talking with Mr. Nemoto, who is just like Mr. Nemoto is just like Taiichi Ohno. Ohno is a manufacturing side, but Nemoto-san is on a non-engineering, not a manufacturing area. Anyway, Age daughter talked to Mr. Nemoto, and okay, this is what my feeling. Maybe it's the energy and the excitement is fading away. So then Mr. Nemoto said, I 100% agree with you. So top management becomes so serious. That's so powerful. It's not that, okay, you guys do that. No. Top management is serious about it. So they talk with each other. Then Mr. Nemoto came down to Mr. Segura and okay, this is what top management, including me, are very much worried about. So that is beginning of the Kampuro. They don't call it Kampuro, but we have to do something. And then Mr. Sugiura and Nemoto-san just discuss about it, and a lot of talking with other key board members. So they decided to teach highest ranking general managers level teaching, just like we train newcomers, newly graduate, university graduate. So that is how it started. So that shows that Toyota top management is always serious about our companies and also about the people working in that community. And so those seriousness of top management is really the trigger of that company. And so that's why all the general manager level people, when they start complaining, how come just you treat us just like a small kid? Always Mr. Segura responded, I know how you feel about it, but it comes from the top management. So they are so serious. Then we have to be serious, just like they are. So then those people, oh, is that right? Maybe then probably they are right.
You always talk to me about how, the Toyota's success comes from being both a combination of top down and bottom up at the same time. And, maybe not many companies aren't, or people working in companies aren't as fortunate to have senior leadership who are as serious and committed, as we've talked about in the past, about the direction of the company and in developing people. How much do you believe from your experience that top down seriousness from the senior leaders is essential to really creating the culture that they want?
Because top management is a decision maker, so they have to make a very, very difficult decision all the time. So if we have the terrible, stupid guy on the top management, then it's very scary. So all the employees, including me, feel very happy. Okay, our top management is very serious about the company, and at the same time about the people working here, including us. So we feel very happy to have those guys, very, very serious people up there. So then why not we workers underneath, working underneath those people, we have to work just as hard as they do. So we see those seriousness up there, then it's easy for us to start something by us. And it's natural because if your father and mother is very serious about taking care of the kids, then kids really appreciate. If what happened if fathers and mothers don't care about the kids and they fool around everywhere, the kids sometimes when they kids grows then become wild or some just terrible thing will happen to them. So you cannot blame the kids because they learn, they watch their leaders all the time. Same thing in the company. So that's why Toyota has been so successful in attaining something as a big group, because seriousness is a key word of Toyota. So there is no huge difference between the car quality, whatever. Car quality is the same. Nissan, and Honda, Toyota, car quality is high level. But the mentality, way of thinking of top management is always serious about the people, about their responsibility. So seriousness, maybe another thing is the patience, but seriousness and patience is the area that Toyota is slightly different from other companies, maybe.
So let's go back to Conpro. So, senior leaders told you that this was very important and they needed to you've told me like retighten the belt on management practices, which
Right.
Toyota's really had to do almost every 20 years because of generational changes. And what was this program that you and your team and Mr. Segura, what was it that they ultimately, or you came up with? How long was it and what was its purpose?
That is very interesting. It's of course the top management did not tell us all the details, but top management said we have to train our employees again. Top management said when we train our employees, that means not working level, but decision maker, which is general manager's level. So that was one of the first things we received from top management. So we are so surprised. Okay, general managers are very smart people. They looks like they know everything. How come we need to train them? We need to provide some training for them. So it's not the knowledge that they lack, but attitude or way of thinking they lack. So it's not the knowledge, but it's their mindset. And so Mr. Segura is very sharp, and he understands that he can sense it because he was at the time he was a manager, not high level, but manager at the time. And we are younger. He was younger.
Yeah.
So, but he was so close with Mr. Nemoto. So he spent so much time with Mr. Nemoto, and Mr. Nemoto is also very serious. And so Mr. Segura, you know, now sensed all those seriousness of top management. Then they talk about how many years, not a 1 year, but it's not one time, but it's maybe it came out maybe 2 years. Of course, 2 years maybe finally decided, but top management probably 1 year or something. First idea, the motto and the Segura, 1 year. Still 1 year is too long. See, usually training takes maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 months, 3 months, but it's 1 year still because Poshin Kanri take place January and the end December, so 1 year. But Mr. Nemoto and top management said maybe 1 year, then it's maybe they can learn something, but it does not stay in their mindset forever. So you have to just make it sure 2 years. So top management makes some decision. So that does not necessarily mean that, okay, you guys do that, and we just wait, but they become so serious. Board members become so serious. And that is one of the things we found out through Mr. Segura's information. Yoshino just, all those board members are so serious about it. So that's why just, top management is so serious, then why not us? So it's automatically those sense of feeling came down from problem so smoothly. It's not that, okay, you guys are lazy, so you have to work harder. It's not that. Top management is become so serious. And so what nobody complains about it. A little bit small complaint, but it's not a serious complaint. So that was one of the first times that I ever, found out that Eiji Toyota and those board members are so serious about the future of Toyota, not current situation, but future, long term, 10 years, 20 years. So we have the right person, Mr. Sugiura, Mr. Nemoto. So without them, that it could not happen.
Really setting that direction, as we talk about that the leader's role is to set the direction, which is what they're doing. This is the direction of the culture and the management style that we want here.
Yeah.
And then provide that support, which is really what Conpro was. I love your comment that's in the book that you said, Mr. Segura said, 2 years is too long to fake it and pretend to try and work hard.
He was joking about it. Actually, that is really great comment because because everybody wants to goof around because they want to pretend that they're working hard, but it's 2 years. So they decided 2 years I cannot do that.
Mm.
It was very interesting. Of course, 2 years is too long because you have to create your A3 document by yourself, by handwritten 4 times within 2 years. So it's not easy. So that is a very,
Mm.
powerful requirement for all the general managers. So they have to become so serious. They cannot assign to their subordinates to write it for them. No, they cannot. Handwritten. It was very, and also top management, and also we know that top management is so serious. So very often we get the top management comment and then send it to all the general managers level in order to make sure that we are on the same page.
Mm.
It's not that top management says something and don't do anything. It's not. Top management always care about, not care, but always curious about what's going on with that Campro. We update with them. So at the same time, we shared, our plans to all over the headquarters area. So it's a communication is very, very,
Mm.
quite often, and there is no string objectives, not objectives, and negative reaction for them because those general manager level, they already knew that they need to be trained in some way. Deep in their mindset, we are kind of losing an energy, losing some goals. So they already noticed as themselves. So it was very good timing. Top management started talking about it. Then general manager level, they think we are a little bit become a little bit lazy. So it needs matches.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. And you were playing a really important role to support all of these senior leaders across the organization to learn and practice really what we now know as A3 thinking, that they had to create their own A3s, present them to to the executive team, get coaching and really and do it themselves. So talk to me about what your experiences was like about being part of that team and sort of leading this training and development for all these senior managers across the organization. And so you were really leading change, but leading through influence because you're coaching them rather than
Yeah.
being the manager telling somebody that they needed to
Yeah.
do an A3.
Well, actually, I was younger, and Mr. Sugar was a key person. So those general managers don't call. They do not call us directly, but call Mr. Sugar first. So that I was sitting just beside him, so I can listen every single word they are talking about on the phone. And at the beginning, it's very, very interesting. Most of the general managers are high level. So Mr. Suguru is a manager, so two rank lower. So they are kind of complaining just straight. Hey, Suguru-san, just this. You guys just make us so busy, and we are so busy. So how come just you add more another assignment to us? But they are kind of serious but jokingly. But Mr. Suguru is very, very soft spoken. He said, "Yes, sir, I 100% agree with you. However, the top management is so serious, sir. So then why not we have to be serious. Of course, they are so serious. We have to become so serious at the same level as top management. That is what we need to do." And so then all those people said, "Yes, I understand that." So Mr. Sugure is very soft spoken, and he just knows how to respond to those people.
Mm.
And so sometimes there's a very strong words, and Mr. Sugure always say, yes, sir, you are right, I agree." And so I was enjoying so much the way he responded to them.
Mm.
So he does not compete with them. He accepts everything, all those complaints. "Yes, sir, you are so busy." And so it's very, very interesting experience for me to how to respond to hardcore, talk from somebody using their position and look down to us, look down to Mr. Segura, and but Mr. Segura nicely respond to them. So I learned how to talk back with them in nice manner and end up with satisfaction on their side.
Mm. Mm.
So it's a great, great. Even we don't even start anything at the beginning stage. I was so impressed with the way he communicate. He's a very good listener, and but he knows whenever we meet, for example, when we meet an in-person general manager level in the technical division, for example. He knows so many things about this guy. So he always um, uh, um, try to make him feel happy to speak up something. He knows how to treat people,
Mm.
and so I was so excited that joining him, and he let me. "Oh, what? So boss, just I would like to join you. So what for? Just what for? So I want to learn something. Why just that guy, general manager in the technical division, what they talk about you, how they
Mm.
respond to you. I just want to hear on your side. Anyway, so Mr. Sugiura just wanted to help me out to learn something. He'd always bring me, just, you're going to join me and we're going to visit. So Mr. Sugiura is always work hard for top management. At the same time, he is ready to give me an opportunity to learn
Mm.
something directly.
Mm. Mm.
And so I was so happy that why this guy is so nice to me. He treats it just like to other people
Mm.
as well, not only me.
Mm.
So then the first 6 months, I just become so, impressed. So I determined that when I become the manager as well, I would do the same thing as he does to me.
Mm.
And that was, you know, that was how I felt. So even though I don't had not have chance to talk directly with the general managers level people so often, but still I know what their stance is. So Mr. Sigura is always share all those information with us because it's a small team. I think he's one of the best managers within Toyota.
Oh, and what a great manager for you to not only develop like management skills of how you wanted to treat people who were reporting to you. But what I
Yeah.
heard in what you were just sharing is he taught you a lot about the key influence skills you need to, as you said, like speak to more senior managers if you're trying to coach and develop them, how to bring them along and how to hear their complaints or their
Right.
challenges, but still like to hear them, but still help move the change forward or the
Yeah.
initiative that needs
Well,
to happen.
yeah. So, yeah, again, one of the great thing about Mr. Sugura is that whenever the other general managers that complain about it, Mr. Sugura always accept it. Yes, sir, you are right. I understand what you're talking about. I understand, sir. However, there is so that is maybe it's a trouble side, not trouble, troublesome for you. How about there is more benefit of this one, and he just talk about it, and then that guy, of course, they know that. So they go, oh, I know Mr. Sugura-kun, I know that, but I just complain because I have so many things to worry about. So Mr. Sugura always accepts something, then in return, he gave his comment back to them. So it's not only accepting all those complaints and thank you, sir, but he just always send back
Mm.
his comment and make it even, kind of.
Mm. Mm.
And so it's a very, very interesting. It's not a technique, but his working style. And he always tried to be a good listener.
Mm.
It's amazing. And when they are talking, when those people that want to complain, they give complaint to every complaint he has in mind to tell them, Mr. Sugiura is just patient. Listen to them and put it on writing. And so I was so impressed. Why this guy don't get mad? This guy does not get mad because, but still he is always listen to them. So patience is a great virtue when it comes to something this difficult situation. So I learned so many things: how to talk back, how to explain something. But he always start yes, always.
Mm.
I agree. I agree. You are so busy. I agree with that. Then he expressed his opinion in return. So that makes their their counterpart feel happy that, oh, Sugiura is now listening to me. He is
Mhm.
listening to my complaint. Then I have to listen to him in return something. So that is
Mm.
one of the things I learned from him. One of the many things I learned from him. So giving your opinion directly to them does not accomplish not so many good things. You have to accept because everybody, those high rank people, just very proud of people. So we have to accept them. Oh, you are so busy, and whatever they said, Mr. Sugar always said, "Yes, sir," even though it's a terrible comment, but it says, "Yes, sir, I understand what you're talking about." That is very, very interesting experience.
It's such an important skill, and even the words you're using align with one of the 8 competencies I talk about in my Catalyst change leader model is being a yes-minded persuader. Now, and that's not necessarily to persuade and force your opinion on someone, but it's about how do you say yes and help bring people along. Sound like Mr. Sugiura was a master at being a yes-minded persuader.
Right, right. And of
Yeah.
course, he learned those, not technique, but those way of doing things from Mr. Nemoto, his boss, our boss. Because Mr. Nemoto is very proud of, he told us that I have never yelled out anything to subordinate in my entire life. I always accept something because if somebody says something bad, something, but there should be some reason why they talk so bad. So
Mm,
Mr. Nemoto is similar way of thinking of
mm,
Mr. Sugiura. Mr. Sugiura maybe try to become a number, the same as Mr. Nemoto. So he has his own target. I want to be just like Nemoto. So he jokingly said, I'm the professor of the Mr. Nemoto school." That's
yeah,
what he says.
yeah.
So he puts some target by himself.
Mm,
I want to become just like Mr. Nemoto,
mm.
but in my own style. So it was very, very interesting. So I learned that. So that I want to become Sugiura's just Professor Mr. Sugiura. I want to become just like him. So it's passed down. Those way of thinking passed down from Nemoto to Sugiura and Sugiura to me. And then from me to Jamshik or whatever.
That's really what that chain of learning is, right? How are we
Okay.
all
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, during ConPro, general managers were required to develop and present A3s 4 times over the 2-year initiative. But it was far more than just about writing reports. By observing how his boss, Mr. Segura, coached senior leaders, many of whom outranked both of them, Mr. Yoshino gained invaluable lessons on how to coach up and lead through influence rather than authority. Listen in as he reflects on what it really takes to bring others along without pushing them. A few more questions about Conpro. So you were, my understanding from our discussions and writing the book is you helped support these senior managers in developing their A3s, in preparing for their presentations, their discussions with the executive team, and giving them comments and feedback. What were some of the things that you learned about creating A3s or in coaching leaders through that process of the 2-year ConPro
I
program?
see. Well, actually, that's a good question because those general manager level, just 45 or just above, so they're already high up there and older. So but it was the very first time in their life to, again, not first time, but they are younger. When they are younger, they start writing A3, but not so popular. But now, computer, they have to prepare A3 document by themselves. There's no typewriter, no computer, laptop computer. We didn't. They have to prepare by their own hand, pencils. So it was a very first first time in their entire life to go back to those 20 in the 20s. So they are struggling. All the general managers because every single day they don't write any document, but they make some judgment or make some decision making. But all of a sudden, on the 2 years, 79 and 80, they have to prepare A3 document themselves. But their reaction is very interesting because at first they called us in our team that okay, you guys let us prepare all those A3 documents just like a school kids. they start complaining jokingly, halfly. But when they start doing that, they relearned how to put this information to this which portion of the A3. They relearn just like they are younger generation. They learn newly. So it's a good benefit for them. They started recognize it time consuming for me, but at the same time, this is really it is very important for me to, as a general manager to define what is the most important thing and against what is less important. So they can learn something important at the general manager's level by through preparing the A3. That's what they told us directly or indirectly. It's very, very interesting. And so Toyota general managers, very nice people, very smart people, but they're kind of also proud people. So at first they did not like it preparing. However, they have to write, they have to think about something by themselves. What is my role is? Then they have to put down in the A3 document. Nobody can do that by except by themselves. So it's very, very interesting to see their attitude changes at the beginning, but maybe 6 months later, their attitudes changed a lot. It's very, very interesting. First couple of months, they keep complaining, sending the telephone complaining, particularly to me, to us, younger. Hey, Yoshino, you just, just tell us, do this, please prepare this A3 and prepare the presentation. But I have to spend so much time working on that. They start complaining. However, after a couple of months, they recognize that they need to relearn how to put all the only key things on the A3 document. They started relearn. They relearned how important it is to express their key point on the A3 document. So anyway, they relearned something new. So after maybe 3, 4, 5 months later, the way they called us is different. Yoshino just, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. But I have some question. I wrote this one, but do you think this is important or? So sometimes they ask us questions. So they was sometimes negative at the beginning, but after they go through the process, they become more positive because they now recognize how important sharing those histories, preparing histories themselves and sharing with other people, doing by themselves is so important. So we witness all those changes taking place in particularly the first 6 months. It's amazing. So that is the power of a good program. And when I say good program, that means they have to prepare their own A3 by themselves. They are not assigned, they are subordinate to prepare it. They cannot because it's handwritten. So it's not typewritten. Anyway, so that was very, very good. And and they become much, much clearer what is their responsibility is. And they learn so many things, particularly in the first 6 months. So that is what Mr. Segura already imagined. So it was very, very interesting. Those comments coming to our office changes from kind of negative comments and complaint, but to become more positive. And sometimes they ask some hint from Mr. Segura and even to us. So that makes us feel so good because they were started as a negative, they become more positive, and we did not force them to change, but they changed themselves. So that is the power of the concept. Anyway, it was a fantastic experience for us to learn that, we have so many excellent and general manager level of people. And I still feel very, very happy to be in that department.
What an incredible experience to get to attend lectures by Mr. Nemoto, working directly with your best boss of your life and seeing him as a really influential change leader of how he was responding to the general managers and coaching them. And you were learning in that same way for yourself as well. And one of the, I can imagine too that the senior leaders, as you said, the executive team, the directors being so serious as well, and that the senior managers had to share their handwritten A3 to those senior managers at the review. And so I imagine that gave them some pressure that the
Exactly,
accountability.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because those board members, underneath board members, those general managers. So board members who is in charge of the certain department, those board members needs to make some comment when they make some, they prepare and 10 minutes presentation, they have to make some comments. See?
Mm,
So they have to be serious about reading all those some general manager level. So board members also they learn so much.
mm,
If they make some stupid comments, then it's so ugly. See? So they have to go through that quickly and then judging from his own idea and own experience, they have to make some nice comments to them. So board members, yeah, board members sometimes told Mr. Sugiura that, okay, at the beginning, board members called Mr. Sugiura from time to time. They are worried about how to say Sugiura, so how to make some when you guys advise those Romanians on how to create E3, how did you do that? So they asked Mr. Segura the hint how to make some nice comments. So board members become so serious. It's very, very interesting. Board members that maybe 45, 50 years and they are so smart, but still
mm,
they did not go through the process uh, uh, before the compro. So they stopped learning how to make some comment to the A3s that their subordinate general manager are preparing. So it was a great training for the general manager at the same time board members as well.
yeah.
And that was the intention of the president, H. Toyota. So of course, his intention was we have to train general manager level. At the same time, H. Toyota wanted to train those board members, but board members are
Mm,
always very proud people. So he did not directly tell them. So Mr. Sigura and our team said, okay, Mr. Sigura, this program is very, very helpful for board members because they have to make some comments. See, if they don't make any comments after 10 minutes presentation, then they look stupid. So they have to become serious. And so that was, Mr. Sugura said that, Yoshino, that is right. That is, so it's a great training for the general manager at the same time for the board members as well. That was the intention of AG Toyota's secret target, probably. So it was very, very,
mm.
very, very interesting experience for us.
As we concluded our conversation about Conpro and its impact on developing Toyota's leadership culture, I asked Mr. Yoshino about the role of managers in overseeing the development of A3 reports, like they did in Conpro, in overseeing the thinking process, not just the actual thinking, and the significance of a manager's hanko, or signature, on the document. In Compro and later as A3 became the standard for communication and people development across Toyota, creating an A3 wasn't just about documenting a plan. It was about the leader's role in developing the thinking behind it. The development didn't come from just the training team, it came from the bosses themselves. I asked Mr. Yoshino to share the significance of a leader stamping their hanko, the Japanese equivalent of a signature, on an A3, and what it represents about a leader's responsibility for developing, not directing, the thinking process.
So it's specifically designed for the general manager level to help them to understand how to create A3. So we are not sitting just receiving all the document, but we are also preparing Mr. Nemoto's speeches. So Mr. Nemoto is helping general managers to learn how to behave just like general managers. So it's very, very interesting.
Mm.
It's a great training for general managers level and even board members training as well. And no other company in Japan have done this type of training.
And what a great learning experience for you, somebody much more junior in your career, getting to
Mhm.
learn directly from Mr. Nemoto, transcribing his talks. And I
right.
believe you shared with me some of those notes from the session about what is Hoshin, how to create an A3. So,
Uh,
really powerful insights
right,
from the beginning. Uh,
right.
Speaking of Hoshin and A3, I wanted to talk for a few minutes about some key
Uh,
elements. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to talk about everything about A3 and
oh,
Hoshin, but a few key points that have really stood out to me that you've talked about and I share often. And one is the signal of or the role of the hanko or the manager's
uh-huh, uh-huh.
signature on an A3 and what that signifies from the manager's role, or in this case would have been, I guess, the
I
board
see. Well,
members. Yeah.
that's an interesting question because we put hanko, it's yeah, maybe in your country, maybe it's signature,
Mm,
but hanko means the sign that you approved that document, the content of the document. Approved means you don't write it, but general managers wrote or a subordinate wrote, prepare the document. When you sign it, that means you approved what is in that document. So you are kind of the person who put that hanko is responsible for the content.
mm,
So you are responsible. So when you put before you put that hanko, you have to go through that.
mm,
The person, the top manager, not top manager, but those board members need to go through that document from left corner to the right corner, for example, A3, and then go through that, and it's then the content is moved very smoothly, and you can understand what this guy is trying to convey, and also the layout is good. So you have to, when you sign it, that is an approval that this is fine. I am also responsible, that indirectly responsible for the content of this one,
mm.
approved it. So it's not the responsible, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not that just okay, it's not okay, but I went through this and this is fine. So it's a good training. So before you put that sign, you have to go through that, ask questions. Those conversation discussion takes place when the general manager brings some document in A3 to the board members. Those discussion takes place. So that is a small difference between other companies.
As we wrapped up our conversation, Mr. Yoshino and I reflected on the week we'd recently spent together, on my Japan leadership experience, and why Mr. Yoshino continues to join me in this learning journey, now for the entire program. We talked earlier before we started recording about how much you've been enjoying joining the program for the whole week and how grateful I am that you're there and for all the, each cohort to get time with you to sit together on the bus and have conversations over meals. And I'm so excited that you're going to continue to be part of these for the whole week. I'm curious, if you could share some of the highlights for you about why you get excited about participating in the Japan leadership experience with me.
Yeah, well, actually, it's the reason why I decided to join the entire Oki, because, of course, I want them to learn something from Toyota, whatever. But at the same time, I want to learn something myself too, because it's a great experience. So that because I learned something out of the question they ask me,
Yeah.
and even though sometimes it's so different from what I've expected, still they want to know something about it. Then I have to think about a little bit deeper why this guy asked this question to me at this timing. Oh, it's a great experience for me. So why not? Because I want them to learn something from Toyota. Also, I myself, I'm selfish because I want to learn myself, taking advantage of this opportunity. So why not? I
Yeah.
used to just join only one part and just 2 hours, 3 hours and say goodbye to them. But this is it give us a lot of great experience for me. And so then I learned so many things out of the question they ask me. So that's sometimes it's oh, I don't know understand what he is asking me. Why? So I'm thinking about it. Then it's a great training for me to my old brain. So then I learned that okay, sometimes I'm teaching something. I'm sharing my own experience, but at the same time, I'm learning some lessons, something out of the reaction they make on the bus. And also after they came back, they sent me an email and a very difficult question to answer. But still, I have to ask them again, what do you mean by this one? It's a still learning experience for me. So this kind of activity it never ends because it's so that's why I wanted to join your Japan tour and entire week because I think I can learn more things than they do. And, I don't know about it.
I don't know about that. We are so grateful to have you part of the experience. And I'm so grateful for our now over decade of friendship and personal and professional partnership, Mr. Yoshino. I learn so much from every conversation we have. And I am grateful for the opportunities that now we've been spending multiple weeks together every year. And thank you.
Well, it's amazing. So it makes me feel young,
Yeah.
and I did a bit smarter than before.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about, right? Continuing to learn, grow, and grow our chain of learning together. So thank you.
It is exactly.
Leadership culture doesn't happen by accident. It takes intentional focus by executives to set the direction and model the way, by leaders at all levels who are willing to practice and grow, and by internal change leaders who provide the structure and support for learning without taking over ownership of the transformation. If you want to learn more about ConPro, be sure to check out Case Study 1 in my book, Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn, for even more insights about how Toyota developed its leaders and created a culture where people development is the strategy for achieving results. As Mr. Yoshino learned from watching his boss, Mr. Segura, coach and develop senior leaders, leading change, especially behavior change, isn't about pushing your vision or process onto somebody else. It's about empathy, patience, and helping others create the change themselves. As we close this episode, I invite you to reflect on your own role as a change agent in your organization. Whether you hold positional authority or lead through influence like Mr. Yoshino and his boss did, how can you bring others along on your vision for change? How can you be a yes-minded persuader and a transformational improvement coach, helping others take ownership while you support their growth? These are essential skills for becoming an influential change leader, a catalyst, as I call it, with a K. You can learn more about all 8 Catalyst competencies by downloading my free self-assessment at kbjanderson.com/catalyst. The links are also in the show notes. And go back and explore them further in episode 9 of this podcast. No matter your role, whether you're a leader, coach, teacher, or parent, how can you demonstrate your seriousness by showing your back, by leading by example, and growing your own chain of learning? As we celebrate the 5-year anniversary of Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn, I want to thank you for being part of this global chain of learning by reading the book, writing reviews, and applying what you've learned and sharing its impact with others. And if you're ready to take your leadership to the next level, I invite you to join me and Mr. Yoshino for an immersive week in Japan through my Japan leadership experience. It's more than a once-in-a-lifetime trip. It's a comprehensive leadership development program that blends pre-trip learning, in-country immersion, and post-trip reflection to turn insights into sustained action and impact. Learn more and apply today at kbjanderson.com/Japan trip. And if you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow and subscribe to Chain of Learning. Part 2 of my conversation with Mr. Yoshino about transforming the culture at Numi will be released in a future episode soon, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for being a link in my chain of learning today. I'll see you next time, and until then, have a great day.